I'm Rantasmo, and vampires need more gay. Halloween's coming up, and rather than watch Hocus Pocus again today, I thought I'd talk about probably the gayest Halloween-y thing I can think of. There are two major schools of pop culture vampirism. There's your classic blood-sucking monstrous vampires, and your romantic, touchy-feely, and ricey vampires. Sometimes the lines get a bit blurry. But recently, we've seen the scales gradually tip from the former to the latter, culminating with... Let's get this part out of the way. Even though hating Twilight is a totally original thing that nobody has ever done on the internet before, I'm willing to concede that these books and movies aren't really for me. That said, I don't know that the message they send to young girls is especially positive. My boyfriend broke up with me, so I'ma jump off a cliff. I'm relatable. You know who I actually think are the most interesting Twilight characters? Bella's friends. Her human friends. The ones that act like actual teenage human beings that do things that average, sensible people might actually do. They're like, whatever Bella, you go ahead and marry that 10 times your age bloodthirsty murderer that you've known for all of your junior year of high school. I'm gonna go join yearbook. On the surface, there's nothing especially gay about Twilight, armies of shirtless boys notwithstanding, but it's a prime example of this romantic vampire archetype. And even in a movie as ostensibly hetero as this one, you can still find gay subtext. Something about this girl who's only attracted to sensitive, sexually inaccessible guys with finely coiffed haircuts seems awfully familiar. Pretty sure I dated that girl. Vampires are frequently a metaphor for sexuality of a more taboo nature, as far back as the days of Bram Stoker, and as recently as True Blood. If you try hard enough, you can even read gay subtext from a movie like The Lost Boys. And not just because most of the cast seems to have fallen into a pile of new wave. It all goes back to that whole penetration thing and exchange of fluids and whatnot. In the case of more monstrous vampires, this might be interpreted as an expression of homophobia, i.e. gay people are evil and predatory and want to convert you to their unholy lifestyle. But as vampires become more sympathetic, their perceived queerness becomes more and more overt. Look no further than Anne Rice. Just about all of her vamps are at least bisexual. Lestat and Louis adopt a freaking kid together, though I can't say much for their parenting ability.
Claudia! Claudia! Now, who will we get to finish your dress? A little practicality, shall we? Remember, never in our home.
True Blood does a particularly good job of blending both the violent and the sexy side of vampires, usually with violent sex. Violent, head-twisting sex. The gay symbolism is pretty clear here, and in some cases it's not even symbolism. The show turns the tables by making the vampire hunters, symbolizing homophobic bigots, just as savage as the vampires themselves. And it's pretty easy to see how the writers feel about homophobia in general.
In this restaurant, a hamburger deluxe come with french fries, lettuce, tomato, mayo, and eggs!
Weirdly though, most of the True Blood vampires are every bit as evil as the anti-vampire people make them out to be. I'm still at a loss as to how the makers of synthetic blood managed to stay in business, seeing as vampires totally still prefer to bite the hell out of people with the apparent exception of one guy. It's a little unsettling to associate gay people with murderous creatures of the night, even sympathetic ones. But for those less concerned about subtext and social implications, there's always the gay porn version of Twilight, entitled, I am not making this up, Twinklight. The main character's name is Billa. Billa, you guys.